Hello everyone. Let's figure out how to fit the wheels and tires I'm using on the Firebird project here. We'll just use hand tools, should be pretty fun. Help anybody out that might be doing some bashing. So we have the 68 Firebird Revell kit that I'm doing for the Pontiac theme show. And I have the wheels from the 55 Chevy Gasser, the red, white, and blue reissue that you can get at Hobby Lobby. Tires right now don't necessarily matter. We'll talk about those later. So we got the rear end here. I gotta do some straightening on this. This thing's pretty wonky. Actually, all the important parts of this kit have been warped. Frame, interior plate, everything. So we'll get there on that. On the back of these wheels, we got a pretty big hole. Looks like 1/8 inch. And then we have the standard hole here, which is usually around 60 thou. This is just a standard 1/8 inch tube from Evergreen Plastics. They fit in there pretty good. But this will work for what we need to do. We need to bush this down, right? Because we have a smaller hole here, and I can't just put something 1/8 inch in there. I don't have enough meat in the axle ends here. So the plan is we'll bush this down, so then we can accept some 1/16 inch. I'll use aluminum. You could use styrene if you wanted to, but this is just K&S 1/16 inch tube. Sometimes I use a tube because at a certain length it will be a little bit stronger than the rod. I wanted that end as true as I could because there is a little bit of wobble in there, which is okay. We'll accommodate for that in the axle. I'll grab some Tamiya extra thin. 2 drops, let it flow in. That go down in there. While that's drying, we'll work on the rear end here. We'll take our 1/16 inch tubing. Let's give it a little chamfer on the end so it's easier to put in. Factory hole is right about 1.5. I want just a tiny little bit of wobble so I can accommodate and straighten everything when I glue it all together. And we'll take a 1.6 drill. Just go slow, let it guide in. Give it a spin, make sure it's straight. Run that in until it bottoms out. And whatever that is right there. Usually when it's in there, I'll spin it backwards just to kind of clean it up and get rid of any burrs. Try to get all the material out. Look at that, like it was meant to be, huh? Letting this dry a little bit more, we'll look at the front. I was going to use the Starsky and Hutch wheel because I like the width of it, but they're a little bit more difficult to mount and I'm trying to keep it simple. So we're going to use the matching wheel for the Chevy here. We have a smaller hole than the back. This is around 100 thou here. I don't have any 100 thou rod, but I do have some tubing that's really close. Not sure what size it is. That should fit it pretty well. Now I could just use this and use plastic as the pin, but I think we'll just put a little bit of rod in it too. We can drill that out and that'll just give it a little bit more strength and that'll work fine. We'll go same 1.6. Drill us out a portion here. An idea how thick this has to be. I could bush this like the rear, and just use the 1/16 going into here. I just want to go a little bit bigger. It's a little stronger. That's all. So now we have a square hole and we have to go out to 2.38. We'll call it 2.4. There is enough meat there to support it. I just don't want to go in willy-nilly with the drill. Just take a tapered file. Make sure we're straight. And do a pilot. I'm going to do this with a couple different drill sizes. Kind of step up to it. Not just do it with one. And that's so I can control the straightness, because what'll happen is you try to just go in there with the 2.4. More than likely it's going to kick off to the side and it's not going to be straight. So just kind of step it up a couple increments take it from there. I'll work on the other side. We'll trim everything down at the end. Sits real flush on the member here. I think. Yeah, not bad. Alright, other side is done. Tires on here. Pink. I may not even have to add any aluminum to it. I might just be able to cement these on and then just trim them there and put the wheels on this way. I don't know. Got a couple choices there. But at least now I can kind of get an idea where it's going to sit on the front end. So the front's almost done. I'll move on to the back here, because that should be dry enough to work. Could go right about there. Get that as long as we can get it so it's more stable. Have to change that blade, it's getting a little dull. Slide that on. I may be able to do that like the front. I don't know, we'll see. A couple different ways to do it. Get a little wiggle room to glue everything in place. Now I can also adjust the track width as well. The tires, I'm using Mickey Thompson Sportsman Pros. These are a 28 by 10 at scale from Futura Traction. They're a great tire. Detail on them is great. They're not hollow, they're cast resin, so they can be a little finicky on wheels. Like on the fronts, I have to add some material to the wheel because it's a little bit crowned this way. We're putting an insert in there. I'm not sure what I'm going to do yet, but the biggest part is being able to fit this on here. And then stance check. All right, stair session time. Let's see what we got here. It'll probably come down a little bit more once everything's put together, like right about there. I didn't want a lot of rake to it. I wanted it to sit proud, but a little bit realistic. So I left the tires in the stock location, but I did use the lift blocks that come with the kit to raise the rear. I also did a little bit of clearancing to fit the tire in there, but I think I'm going to eliminate the chrome trim altogether. One, because I don't like it, and also it'll kind of make it look more aggressive. It'll give it a little vintage Trans Am feel, having sharp edges there. It might be pretty neat. And of course, we'll have the slapper bars, and then maybe, I was looking at this side exit exhaust that comes with it. It's kind of worky, and I'm kind of focusing on stuff you just see from the exterior on this. Maybe some side pipes will enter the chat here. I don't know. I'll have to see about that. I don't have the scoop on because it's going to go away. Even though it fits, I have another idea. I'm just waiting on parts. I think it's going to be cool. You guys will dig it. But overall, yeah, it's going to work. Not bad, huh? And then with doing the axles the way that I did, actually I can do little spacers if I want to mess with the track width a little bit. And we can bring them out and be like, oh, we want it to be a little bit more 70s street freak vibe, just a little subtly. Boom, just bring it out like that. A little spacer, or bring it back in and tuck it. I like to have just where the bulge starts, have that kind of parallel with the fender well. Have to mess with the camber a little bit there. It's kind of getting the flavor, I guess. Later.